This panoramic has driven some of y'all completely insane. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Houston, Texas mother who locked her son in the trunk of her car because he came down with the bug. Now, rather than just doing the quarantine for 10 days, 5 days, or whatever the CEO of Delta says, rather than just having the windows of your car rolled down so fresh air gets in, rather than doing anything that makes any kind of sense at all, you're going to put the son in the trunk because you don't want to get sick. Ain't that right, Mom? That's what you're going to do? Totally ridiculous, totally crazy, but I have a lot to say on it. And before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see news out there in Texas give a little bit more detail on the whole situation. And after we get done with that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents and my deep, detailed analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
This next story has a lot of people asking, what was she thinking? A mother who's also a teacher at Cy-Fair ISD is accused of putting her 13-year-old son in the trunk of her car because the boy had COVID.
She was caught after taking her son to a COVID testing site. Now she's facing charges. Zach Tawatari joins us with this bizarre story.
It certainly caught a lot of people's attention. What we know so far is that Cy-Fair ISD says that mother, Sarah Beam, was a teacher here at Cypress Falls High School you see behind me. And now she's on administrative leave, and court documents say she has a warrant out for her arrest. Court documents say a 13-year-old was kept in a trunk while his mom went through the Pridgeon Stadium COVID testing site in northwest Harris County. The reasoning? She said her son tested positive for COVID and she was trying to prevent herself from being exposed while she went for additional testing.
I have never heard of somebody being put in the trunk because they tested positive for anything.
Sergeant Richard Standifer is a public information officer for the Department of Public Safety. He says that aside from the optics, there are safety concerns that go along with a decision like this.
In the event that the vehicle is in a crash, there's no way to really secure a person in a trunk.
Namely, a seatbelt, which Standifer says is required by law in a passenger vehicle or passenger truck. According to the court documents, Beam, who Cy-Fair ISD says has been a teacher at Cypress Falls High School and employed by the district since 2011, is being charged with endangering a child.
Most of your vehicles are constructed with crumple zones in the front and the rear of the vehicle. So if an individual's in the rear of the vehicle and they're involved in a crash, they're probably at greater risk of being injured.
The child was removed from the trunk unharmed, but the district says Beam has been placed on administrative leave and there is a warrant out for her arrest.
So if you do come up with an idea like that, it's probably not going to be commissioned with what the law is.
Now, we did try to speak with Beam at her home earlier today. We were told she wasn't there. At this time, we don't know if she's in custody or her whereabouts. Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 News.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, there's so much to say, I'm not really sure where to begin. As I was saying in the intro there, the logic is totally absent, 1,000% absent, okay? If you come down with the bug, what are some basic things you do anyway? Just aside from this bug here, let's say you got a cold or the flu. What they calling this right now? The flu-rona? Ridiculous, but anyway, if you have any kind of illness, any kind of sickness, just stay in your room for a while, get you some little snacks, some Twizzlers, some popcorn, some Cheetos or whatever, and watch some movies, watch a little Netflix and just relax. Just hang out in the room and that's it, right? If you're that scared of the bug spreading around, just do basic things like that, okay? You're going to put him in the trunk of your car? So I guess the logic here was, if he's in the actual vehicle in the passenger side or in the back seat, then the air circulating and then I might get sick. But as I was saying, I mean, you can roll the windows down, right? Let the fresh air get in. Maybe just do something like that. I mean, maybe you say all the masks and the shields and stuff like that work. Just throw that on. Throw that on yourself, throw it on him, and then you good. You don't want to do that, though, because that ain't enough because you're scared, right? I'll talk about why she was so scared and my humble opinion in a moment. But rather than doing anything that might make any kind of sense, even if it might not work, you probably think it does because of a few reasons, right? Rather than doing that, you're going to put him in the trunk of your car. 13 years old on top of that. This ain't no little kid. I mean, if he was a little kid, it'd be worse. But a 13-year-old, I mean, come on. Like, what in the world's going on here? I think this is the fault of the media. Oh, it's the fault of the mom as well, right? Because you're an adult. You have agency over yourself. You know not to put your kid in the trunk of the car. I mean, are you trying to kidnap him or what? Are you trying to smuggle him into a foreign country? What's going on? Are you a border coyote? You are in Texas, so I'm not sure what's happening. But anyway, I blame the media for a lot of this because they've been driving the fear narrative. Remember, for like, I say a good year or two, maybe even now, you would turn on CNN. And, you know, I'm not a CNN watcher, but I fly sometimes and you'd be in the airport. I've not seen them in the airport lately. Maybe I'm not really paying attention. But anyway, you would go to the airport and you'll see CNN on, and then it'll be a death ticker, an active death ticker of all reported virus cases. 400,000, 500,000, 800,000, 100 trillion or whatever. You could see it right there. And they talk about it all the time, constantly. Oh, wear the mask, get the shot. Second shot, third shot, fourth shot, get the pills, get this, get that, get it. Quarantine, 18 days, 5 days, 10 days. Whatever Ed Bastian says, the Delta CEO, you got the CDC director saying one thing, Fauci saying something else, Joe Biden saying something else. Not only are you driving fear, you're also creating confusion. So weak-minded people like this mom are just going crazy. They're just like, look, I don't know what to think. I'm totally scared. I don't want to get this thing. I don't want to go to the ER. I don't want to get put on the ventilator. I don't want to die. So now I'm going through really drastic measures to protect myself from this whole situation, right? Not even thinking that this Omarion is going around is really mild, okay? As I was saying earlier, this whole thing about flu Rona, that's a real thing. I didn't make that up. I'll place some articles in the description box below so you can read it for yourself. They're talking about people going to the hospital or it's somewhere and getting tested, and they're coming back positive for the bug and the flu. So they call it flu Rona. It's like, man, look, if you want to rebrand the flu, just say that and save us all the trouble and save this ridiculous, crazy mom the panic of placing her 13-year-old son in the trunk of her car because she's too scared to get the bug, right? And be clear, I'm not trying to say the media are totally responsible. She needs to go to the penitentiary. I'm sorry. A jail, prison, something, because like, think about the emotional toll that put on that 13-year-old, right? You getting put in the trunk of the car. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're 13 years old. You would kind of understand what's going on a little bit. And you probably have had some issues like this before with your mother, if that's going on. If she thinks it's okay for you to be in the trunk of the car and it's not really a big deal, then I got an issue. Okay. I could see if it was like an SUV and you're like in the back little cargo area where, you know, it's not closed off and you could kind of just chill. Cause I've done that before. Back of the SUV chilling, maybe even in the back of a pickup truck. That's not safe, obviously, but I've done that before at that same age, 13 years old, you know, going to the beach, you know, in back of the pickup truck, you know, that's fun. That's cool. On the interstate like that too, going 80 miles an hour in back of the pickup truck. Hey, we ain't fall out. We ain't die. We're fine. But in a car, you got a Honda Civic, right? That thing got 4 ball tires. You're in Texas. It might be another snowstorm. One false move and that trunk gonna be looking like an accordion and that boy gonna be dead. So this is somebody that has no logic happening in their mind. They've been totally brainwashed and they just are irresponsible in general, my humble opinion. Okay. Seatbelts not even available, just you in the trunk and whatever's in there. Okay, I got spare wigs, I got a tire iron, I got a couple little pieces of dirt, some roaches or whatever. That's all going to be in the back of the trunk with you. And if I crash, oh well, I don't want to get sick. Okay, totally ignoring other things of other safety that you got to, keep into consideration. Like I said, the seatbelt is one thing. I saw someone else on a motorcycle, Harley Davidson, vroom, vroom. You on that thing with no helmet on, okay, on the road, not just like parked somewhere at an apartment, at a house, in the driveway, working on it. No. On the road, driving at a stoplight. No helmet on, but you got a mask on. Make that make sense. People are so afraid of this thing, they don't take basic safety measures, right? Basic safety measures. People are really freaking out about washing their hands and stuff like that, but I'm like, that's kind of like basic hygiene. That's basic stuff you should do. People are just going totally crazy, and I hope that this thing just dies out, because I'm tired of people just being ridiculous. I'm in the airport walking around minding my business, and I'm leaving, right? I'm leaving Hartsfield Jackson, trying not to get shot at the gas station on my way back home, right? So I'm leaving the airport in Atlanta, and I have my mask down, right? You got to wear it on the plane. I'm not wearing that, just walking around in the terminal. I'm trying to bounce. And it's a dude with a mask on, looking terrified, like pointing at his mask to tell me to put my mask on. I gave him the blankest stare in the world. It's like, sir, if you don't stop, okay, like, do you understand this ain't even really doing nothing for you anyway? They came out recently and said that it doesn't even really work. You got to get the N95, and the N95, you have to get fitted to yourself, and you got to adjust it every 2 to 3 hours to keep that same seal. As I close, I want to say this. The media needs to clean this up. The politicians, like your Anthony Fauci, which he's not really, but he is. He's just like an appointed person, not an elected official, but same thing. Rochelle Walensky, Fauci, all these elected politicians, people on the right as well, the news media, they need to clean this stuff up, man. Clean up the fear that they have sowed into the American people. And unfortunately, a lot of these seeds have grown into crazy, ridiculous 1,000-year-old trees that's not going to get uprooted anytime soon. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. They need to do the best they can to instill confidence in some people. In some, there's no confidence. Confidence is lost. But in some, you should be able to try and at least calm their fears, because I don't want to see no more kids get put in the trunk of their car or any other ridiculous nonsense like that. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this whole situation of the kid getting put in the trunk because of the mom's fear of the bug? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. How you feel about what the mainstream media and the politicos have done to foster this narrative of be scared of this thing. It's the worst thing in the world. You could basically go to a nuclear power plant, jump in the pool of water, and be totally fine. But if you go to a restaurant without your mask on before you sit down and eat, you're going to die the next day. That is a general narrative that we've gotten from the mainstream media. How do you feel about that? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. I'm so tired of this. I am not afraid. I'm living my life. I'm not running around here like, like it's the end of the world, like some kind of infectious outbreak that killed 99.99% of the population. I'm just not doing it anymore, okay? People get sick. They get ill. It is what it is. Take your precautions, but do things that make sense, all right? Eat right. Don't be 1,000 pounds, all right? Don't be the size of a baby grand piano or a Volkswagen Beetle. Be healthy. Take basic precautions, but don't put your 13-year-old in the trunk of your Honda Civic. Please stop doing that. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.